Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra and I'm going to take you through a full body yin yoga practice suitable for all levels, and I'm using a bolster for this practice. It's been a while since I've brought my bolsters out. If you have one at home, definitely grab it, but it really is not necessary. You can easily substitute this with 2 blocks, or better yet, just go grab some bed pillows or some couch cushions, or even some folded up blankets, something that you can stack so that you have about, this height, but really 2 blocks is a great substitute for it. It's totally optional to have this bolster. I just wanted to bring it out because it's been a while. So I'm going to start in supported fish with reclined butterfly legs. You can lay down over your bolster. If you're doing this with blocks, you would want to put your first block underneath your upper back, second block underneath the back of your head. And I'm bringing the soles of my feet together to touch, letting the knees open up wide. If you wanted to, you can also just straighten your legs and only do supported fish pose. And finally, one more option would be to extend your arms up overhead. If this is too much, leave it out. And I like to just kind of interlace my fingers and place my arms up overhead with my elbows bent, but you could also have your arms out straight. We'll be in each pose anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. So really make sure that you are taking the time to get comfortable and settled, not rushing anything. You want to be able to relax in a pose once you get there, placing the emphasis on your breath. Closing your eyes and try to just relax here. Had your arms up overhead, you can slide them back down. And we're actually just going to come into a butterfly forward fold. So you can tuck your chin to your chest and slowly lift your way out. And I'm going to bring my bolster out in front of me. Soles of the feet together, knees apart. And then you're just letting yourself fold over here. So you don't need props for this pose. You can just let your upper body dangle and let gravity pull you deeper into the shape. You could stack some blocks, really whatever it is that would feel the best for you right now, depending on what you have available. Just getting a stretch through the inner thighs and inner groin. Whenever you notice your mind beginning to wander off, see if you can bring it back into the present moment. You can push to lift up nice and slow. And I'm just going to turn to face over towards you. You might want to help your knees lift on up with the help of your hands. You can take a little windshield wiper motion, extend your legs straight. We'll be coming into our shoelace pose, and I'm going to do it with a block with my bolster by adding a side bend. So in this knee pile, you're trying to stack your right knee over the top of your left one. And already, if this feels challenging, if the knees are far away from one another, you can sit up on your bolster or on your block. This will help you find a little bit more alignment. Otherwise, if the knees are stacked, you might just prefer to hold as you are, or you can fold forward over your thighs. The version I'm gonna do here is adding a side bend, and I find the bolster makes this a lot easier because it lifts the ground up. So my right elbow is going to rest on the bolster, and I'm just gonna support my head. And you can bring your left arm maybe behind your back so that you're really rolling that left shoulder away, not rounding and contracting, but really expanding here. And you can instead use a block or two underneath your elbow. I always like to think of the first minute in any yin yoga pose as being like the minute we use to really set ourselves up. So of course, one of the principles is to be still in yin yoga and not move. But for that first minute or so, fidget as much as you need to, so that once you find the right version of this stretch, it's easier to hold it and you can actually relax and even enjoy your time in the pose. So deep breaths here. Let's ease out of this one, just slowly lifting your head up first so that you can make your way back up and through to center. And then uncross the legs. Again, maybe a windshield wiper motion or just stretching your legs out in front of you, giving them a little shake. And we'll go and find this over on the other side. So if you were using your props to support your elbow, move them over towards the other hip. And this time we'll be aligning and stacking our left knee over the top of our right knee. Bringing those heels in, maybe sitting up on your props or folding directly forward, or if you're doing the side bend on the other side, you can bring your left elbow down and try to really stay in that same plane so you're still aligned with your hip. You're not leaning forward, not leaning back. Supporting your head and maybe bringing that right arm behind you to help roll that right shoulder back. lateral flexion only, not moving into a contraction, not rounding forward, just a side bend. Lift on out nice and slow. Leveling your hips under your shoulders. Unwrapping your legs. And we'll take one more seated pose, coming into straddles. Sometimes this is called dragonfly. It's just a wide-legged forward fold. Opening up through your legs. Try to keep your knees and your toes pointing up. Avoid this internal hip rotation that can sometimes happen. And then you can choose to dangle and let gravity pull you deeper into the pose, or you can make the most of it using your props, either blocks or your bolster, under your chest, under your head. And just hanging out here. And it's not always about getting that full pancake. Like sometimes this is called pancake in gymnastics and dance, where your spine and your belly lay flat to the floor. That's certainly one version of the pose and one way we can work on deepening ourselves into the pose. But sometimes the further down you go with the chest, the less you're able to open up the legs. So you might notice that if you hold yourself up a little higher, you're able to go a little deeper into your hips and hamstrings. So it really is just all about what it is that you're trying to work on. So I like to find that middle point of tension with the upper body as well as with the legs. If you wanted to work more along your spine. Then you can bring your knees in a little and try to lower closer to the mat. Let's ease on out of this one. Start with the upper body always. Use arm strength. Lifting up. And then you can use your hands to help your knees bend. And we'll lower onto our backs. We're going to come into supported bridge, doing a knee to chest pose. So I'm keeping my prop at the middle of my mat, and you can just sit up on it and lower yourself down. So beginning in this supported bridge pose, you could of course do this with a block, with your pillows, whatever it is that you have. Just support your hips. And then we're gonna draw the right knee in towards our belly and straighten the left leg out any amount that is good for you here. So finding a nice opening at the front of our left hip, deep into your hip flexors. You might feel this in your quads a little bit as well. And try to relax head and shoulders on the floor. To get out of this one, bend your left knee first before we go to the other side. Just let your legs dangle up to the ceiling in this waterfall pose. Just a minute or so here. You can bend your knees. We'll find that knee to chest pose on the other side. So straighten your right leg to the floor and pull your left thigh in towards you. We're still trying to evenly distribute our body weight through both hips. Try to relax your upper body a little more. And really take this journey inwards. Noticing what is present within you right now. And same thing here, releasing from this pose, bend into your knees. And you can reach your legs up, maybe do the same variation. We're just here for about a minute or so as a way to release. You can either keep your legs and toes reaching up to the sky, or you could open up into a straddle, whatever you'd like here. come out. And we'll stay like this for one more pose, just taking a supported bridge. So you can either do it in the more restorative variation with your feet flat to the floor, maybe your arms reaching up overhead, or you can go further into it by this time straightening both legs. If this feels like pain or pinching in your lower back, bend your knees more. That's how you know you've definitely gone too far into the pose. Your arms up overhead, you can slide them back down, and we're going to ease our way off of our props. We won't be needing them anymore. Bend your knees, walk the feet back in, and you can push to lift your hips up, sliding the props out. And it might feel good to pull your knees in towards your belly, rocking a little bit side to side, or just letting your knees fall in that windshield wiper motion. And I'm just going to do a few pumping motions here with the knees to further release the lower back. So if you place your hands over the tops of your knees when you inhale, You want to straighten your arms and move your legs away from you. Exhale, pull them back in. It's a very small, subtle motion, but it can feel really nice. Try to relax your legs fully. Let your arms do the work here. So inhale away. Exhale in. One more. And we'll find Shavasana, our corpse pose. Extend out with your arms and your legs. Close your eyes. We'll stay here for our last few minutes. Let gravity pull you deeper. Just letting it all go. deepen your breath so that we can wake ourselves up, re-energizing and feeling some movements through the fingers and the toes, rolling our wrists and our ankles. And you can stretch your arms up overhead. And roll to one side. Let's come on up. Take your time here. Sitting up tall, joining palms together, Anjali Mudra. Let's inhale to chant to close our practice. Chanting Om one time. Big breath in. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you enjoyed this full body yin yoga practice. Please leave me a comment below before you go. Let me know how this went for you. Do subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll be practicing again with you very soon.